Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Stories That Inspire Us. I am your host, Janice Malillo, and I have an amazing guest on today. And I just want to start by saying there are so many women out there that are having fertility issues, and I really don't think that this is a topic that we discuss enough. And even though I am not in that realm anymore, I think it's vitally important to discuss this topic. This certainly is a story that inspires me. So I want to welcome to today's podcast, Monica Cox. Thank you for being here today and welcome to the Stories That Inspire Us podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. So Monica, I know that you're a functional fertility coach and infertility warrior. And you support women in finding the root cause of their fertility issues and become the conscious mother they were meant to be. My gosh,
Yeah.
that even though I am not in that realm anymore, that really touches my heart in such a way because where you are in your journey being a functional fertility coach and an infertility warrior speaks volumes. Can you share with us how all of that came to be?
Okay, I'm going to give you the cliff notes because it is a long journey. But basically, when I was 27, I had been with my partner for almost a decade, and we thought this is going to be really easy. We're fit, healthy, everything's fine. And we just really struggled, and it was complete mystery to the doctors. And at the age of 30, I went to try IVF because that was the solution. And it was a shambles, a complete shambles. And they told me that I had low egg quality because my husband's sperm was fine. And there was nothing I can do about it. Just try IVF again. And I don't know what made me not believe them because I had no evidence of anything out there that was able to improve my situation. But I just didn't believe them. And so we walked away from that clinic, and two things happened. One, I stumbled upon a book called Is Your Body Baby Friendly? And Dr. Beer was talking about different types of autoimmune and blood issues and, things really outside the box that could be for affecting fertility. And I thought, I really resonated with the autoimmune issue, even though I didn't have like a present autoimmune like story. And then a friend of ours just said, change your diet. And we were like, what? Like, we're fine. Like, we don't eat fast food every day. We're not like addicted to sugar, like we're just like normal and we eat like everyone else. And he's like, yeah, your diet's junk. Like, you need to change it. So we hooked up with a functional medicine practitioner, actually a cousin of a friend. And he was just a wealth of knowledge. And he just kind of really opened up all the holes that I think a lot of people don't see. They've done a very, very good job at marketing to us things that are healthy but aren't healthy, or hiding the sugar, in the cans of jars and the breads and the cereals and all that. And so we saw great health improvements. My husband, he didn't decide to join me. He was kind of forced, but we both did it. And we saw a lot of great health improvements that we didn't know that we needed or that were issues. We just thought they were normal and that's what we were going to live like the rest of our lives. But I still wasn't getting pregnant. So I did another round of IVF. And we went to a specific clinic that was doing this autoimmune testing, and they actually talked us out of it because I wasn't having reoccurring miscarriages. And so even though we got 5 beautiful embryos, so I definitely improved my egg quality, I didn't even make it to day 28. And we demanded the testing, obviously. And then that's when we finally got our answer. I did, in fact, have high natural killer cells, which is an elevation of the immune system. And so basically, my body was in such high alert, it was attacking everything, which included the embryos, because the embryo is a foreign agent, basically until 12 weeks when the placenta takes over. Before I changed my diet, what else it was doing was causing low egg quality, because my body was in such an inflammatory state. And because my eggs are inside of me, it was reacting to that environment. So, long story short, we did 3 frozen embryo transfers. I got pregnant with all 3 of them. I only had 1 live birth. But I was incredibly grateful that we had solved the mystery. The unexplained got explained. I got my health back. A lot of mental clarity came through this, and I had a baby. So, like, cherry on top, right? So 2 months after the second miscarriage, I got pregnant naturally. And that's when I knew, because during that time I had been training as a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And when I got pregnant naturally, that's when I knew this information had to be out there. And that was my purpose in life, was to let women know that their bodies can heal. And you just got to give it the right support to do so.
That is flipping amazing. And I just want to say, I am so glad that there are different treatments or things that can be done. But your path is so similar to so many other women. And to be able to get, as you said, to the root cause of that and realizing what was happening, and have a baby after that, and then naturally get pregnant, like that says volumes. And who wouldn't want to work with someone as yourself? Because not only, I think, for what you've been through, women can relate to that, couples can relate to that.
Yeah,
That's very
exactly.
profound.
Yeah, unfortunately though, I don't provide a quick solution. It was a really long journey for me. It ended up being 8 years before I got pregnant naturally. But that's because I didn't have the right guidance. Even though my functional medicine practitioner is probably one of the most knowledgeable people out there, he wasn't fertility focused. He wasn't autoimmune focused. He wasn't really getting all those little links that only someone really with that big focus. And it wasn't a real thing. Like, no one was really talking about it. So even people who maybe knew the functional medicine side, they probably weren't reading things that, oh, this is definitely linked to fertility. It's only been in the last 5 years that this stuff is really, you can't ignore it anymore. It is such a big issue for a lot of women. And it's a real big mental and emotional ride, because for a lot of us dealing with autoimmune issues, we're type A, and we're always on the go, and we always have to be doing. And this is one of the hardest things, that you have to retrain yourself to slow down, because I can give you the perfect diet. I can sort your gut health out, but you're the only one who can fix those adrenals. You're the only one who can take the time and slow down that mental and emotional connection. You're the only one who can work on maybe past traumas that are impacting your body physically. So it's not this fix where you go to an IVF clinic, they basically do everything for you, and you may or may not have a baby after it. And this is where the consciousness comes from, because when I started becoming a coach, I was like, well, I'm just here to get women pregnant. And then when I started working with people, I was like, actually, no, I'm really making people aware and conscious of what is around them, who they really are, and having to make really hard decisions for themselves and for their future children before they even become a mother.
Right. And you bring up some very valid points there. And, I think when a woman is in that situation where you mentioned, okay, if they go the IVF route and that they do it all for them, but you're talking more of a participation role
Mhm. Yeah.
on such a deeper level. Are there past traumas associated? Do they have any autoimmune issues? Do you think, based on what you've been through and the patients that you coach, do you see these perhaps maybe different IVF clinics, or, hiring functional fertility coaches to kind of help in that arena?
If they're smart, yes, there definitely clinics are catching on to a holistic approach. I know Zeta West, she's a really big IVF fertility person in the United Kingdom. She's caught on to the autoimmune. But here's the thing, and I'm not saying this for everyone, they're going to get less repeat customers. Because what happens when you start taking this approach, you might need, like myself, I was already in the route of the medical assistance, and I kept going with the holistic stuff. So I didn't need their services again after. So I'm not saying that they bank on that, but it's not good for business to educate women, make them conscious that they can actually heal their body, and that these medical treatments should really solely be reserved for women with structural issues, or men as well. Genetic issues, if you do need to test embryos or do anything on that front. And then, I mean, there is a case for people just wanting it, right? Like someone who's 45, they don't have the years ahead of them, like maybe a 35-year-old would, to do this. So maybe they do 3 to 6 or 9 months of work and then go, okay, I want to do this. But a large majority of women getting pushed into IVF don't actually need it.
That is very interesting. Now, when your clients come to you, is there a baseline standard? In other words, maybe they've already been through IVF. Do they come to you like 6 to 9 months after maybe the first attempt? Like, how somebody seeking out your services, how would they even think about going about that?
My clients come to me at very different stages, but I would say they're all done with the BS. They're like, okay, I feel like I've tried it all. A lot of them have been through medical treatment, multiple rounds, and it hasn't worked. So there's a part of me that believes that they just want a true deep connection for someone who's going to actually listen to what they're saying, because we get gaslit in the doctor's office quite a lot, but they're just ready to listen somewhat. They're ready to go, okay, I've tried my way, I've tried the doctor's way, I've tried what this book said, like what is not working. And for me, one of my gifts is being able to see the holes in people's journey. Okay, you might be on this beautiful diet, but here is where you can improve on this diet. Or maybe this diet isn't the right diet for you. You don't have to be that extreme. Relax, bring more stuff into your life. And definitely supplements, a lot of us are over supplementing. So it's like, releasing all the tangible things and just having trust that if you're doing the right steps, not being perfect, but being consistent, that your body knows what it needs to do. You just got to give it the right support. So I think they're just looking for that. And then just the honesty, right? Like I'm able to bring out things that people will never be able to say to their doctor because their doctor won't ask. And just have a friend who completely gets where you're at in your journey and where you need to go. I think that's vitally important to see that it is possible. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
And that possibility with working with you, I mean, I can only imagine the frustration when your clients come to you. Like, as you mentioned, they've kind of been there, done that all. And I think in the medical sense, like they're hearing what they're saying, but they're not listening, because there really is that art. Like you had mentioned, you can see the holes in somebody's journey, like whatever diet they may have been on, what they've been through so far. So I just want to let our viewers and listeners know I am not knocking the medical industry, but you bring up a very valid point. And I think it's, especially for a woman who is going through this, it's really important to ask those questions. And if they don't find the answers that they're looking for, to seek out additional advice from somebody as yourself that is not just hearing, but is listening, is acknowledging their journey, and to have that partner to help them, to coach them through.
Yeah. I'm it's so important, and it does make the journey just less traumatic, less lonely. I mean, I know you're going to spend money to be with a coach, but if you're using medical treatment, it could really cut your, your time in half, and your expenses in half. Um, it's just really hard to step outside of the box, right? When I was going through this, I mean, I looked insane. I don't look as insane because a lot more people are talking about gut health, autoimmune, mental and emotional health, that they're all connected. But people around you who are not willing or don't need it or aren't interested just think you've gone crazy. And it's really hard to just go, I don't care what you think anymore. This is my journey. And at the end of it, this is what I always told myself. At the end of it, I just want to be proud. I don't want to wonder. I don't want to I wish I would have just done this. I wish I would have just like discovered this autoimmune paleo diet and just really stuck with it. Like I never wanted to do that. So when I refocus of like, okay, it's not necessarily about getting pregnant anymore. It's about making myself proud and being able, if I do walk away with no children, not having any regrets, and able to live a life of joy and service, child free, right? Because that's just an important thing to keep into your mind, like, well, what does my life look like if it doesn't work out the way I want it? And releasing those expectations too, like that's the downfall for a lot of us. We expect it to be a certain way. And when that way doesn't work out, well, then nothing's going to work out. It's like, well, let's, just release that, live life, do the things you need to do, and you'll most likely be pleasantly surprised.
And I think that the beauty of what you just said was, to be proud of yourself and knowing that through your journey, and as a byproduct of all that, you're a mommy now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the consciousness comes in, right? That's where the awareness. And I did the early education for 20 years almost before I became a mother. And I really thought I was going to have motherhood down. And as all moms know, no one can prepare you for what motherhood truly is. And the practices that I had put into place during my fertility journey helped me become a better mother. Because in all honesty, if I would have got pregnant at 27, I would have been a divorced single mother, because I still had a lot of emotional baggage that I didn't realize needed to be unpacked. And so I would have just brought that onto my children. I would have brought it into my marriage. It would have been, because the frustrations and the lack of time and all these things that pile onto a mother in this day and age just gets on top of you. And if you're not conscious about what is going on and have a little bit of tools or have the strength to ask for help or reach out and go somewhere, it just causes more disaster, physically, mentally, and impacts everyone around you. So when the hard challenges continue to keep coming as a mother,
Mhm.
I feel very grateful that I sorted my BS out even just a little bit before I became a mother, and then it was easier to move through these things.
I love what you just said. You sorted your BS out, and
Yeah.
uh, I'm laughing with you because,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's true.
I mean, obviously, I'm a mom. My baby will be 35 next month, and I think in many respects, when we look back on a specific journey, we didn't see, obviously we can't forecast or predict the future, but now as you're looking back on your journey, like you just said, like maybe this is what, in an very eloquent way, maybe this is what obviously I was meant to do, and I was
Mhm.
meant to go through it because life happened to you, but in a beautiful, directful way
Yeah.
where you are proud of yourself. You are a mommy. And I mean, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the worst things you can say to someone going through any type of struggle, that if you allow yourself to do the hard things and you look back, years down the line, you'll understand why you had to go through it. Um, Maybe it doesn't make it right, but I understand why my journey was so long and painful and expensive, because now I can help women not have that, right? I can show you the quicker path. I can show you all the mistakes I had to do. I mean, I did everything, right? I mean, if there was a fertility witch doctor available, I would have gone. Like, so I have that experience in all these different areas, and I can tell you the truth about them. And now I have the knowledge of how the body works. And I'm not from a scientific background. I'm not an academic. I am definitely a creative. I was a little girl out playing cartwheels and drawing unicorns and, like playing sport. Um, so if I can understand this, anyone can understand this. You just have to like be open to it, because it's so not what we were taught. We were taught that your genetics are set in stone. There's nothing you can do, like you are who you are. You can't change. You can't, teach a new dog old tricks, like all that stuff that we got pounded with our whole lives. We're just, I don't know if they were lies, but they definitely weren't true. So it's hard for people to believe that about themselves, especially when a woman feels broken about their body. And because health isn't a quick fix, and especially fertility, because it usually trickles down. You'll see all your normal health issues kind of go away first, but it takes 3 months for an egg to mature. So you really need closer to 6 months to see the healthy eggs being delivered. So as you're doing all these steps and you're not getting pregnant, or you're having failed IVFs like myself, you don't think it's working because it's not tangible. You can't see it. You can't make it happen. And so it's really about that surrendering and that trust, and just watching all your normal and common health issues and just putting the foot in front of the other. And I don't want to say everyone has their stopping point, right? And it's really hard for some women because functional fertility is kind of the last thing they come to. They're like, okay, I've tried everything else. Well, I guess I'll try your woo woo stuff. And it's like, okay, but it's going to take time. And I know you've been on this journey for years already, but just trust that you have the strength. You're here. You would have given up a long time ago if this wasn't your path. So it's really important just for that surrender and that trust.
Right. And Monica, how can our viewers and listeners get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I'm at Finding Fertility everywhere on the internet. You could just Google me. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. My website's Finding Fertility.
Perfect. Thank you. I want to thank you for your time today and really diving into a subject that should be chatted about more often, and especially for those mom to be's out there who are having issues, to know that they are cared for, that they are loved, and that miracles do happen. However they come about, they do happen. Monica, thank you so much for being here today. I can't thank you enough. This was an awesome discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
You're so welcome. Folks, if you're a young mom, even if you're maybe a little older mom or a mom to be, reach out to Monica. She has such a wealth of knowledge, compassionate. She's proud. She's a mama. Her story today inspired me. Even though I am not in that bracket anymore, I just want to make that abundantly clear. But
Divine, are you listening?
Scotty, no. But I want to thank you, because what you chatted about today will inspire others. My name is Janice Malolo, the host of Stories That Inspire Us. Today, I was inspired by this amazing woman, Monica. Your story inspires me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day, and please come back and visit us. You can also go to my website, and if you know somebody who you know has a story that inspires others, would love to be able to chat with them as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.